Go.
G'day everybody. Today I'm responding to an email that I received from a mother of 5 children. She's having a hard time with one of her kids, around about 8 years old. He's a little boy and he's giving his sisters a hard time. He's not respecting mum and dad, and he's also not respecting his things. And this mum's saying, what am I supposed to do? We've tried everything and nothing's really working for him. I've got 4 ideas that can be helpful when our children are acting out. And I'll use a 7 or an 8-year-old as an example, but these principles apply for everybody. The first thing to remember is the child's developmental capabilities, or how far the child has developed and what he or she still has to do. So when a child's developing, they're just not capable of doing some things that other children are capable of doing. Every child develops at a different time and in a slightly different way. If your child's around about 7 or 8 years old, then he or she should be just starting to regulate emotions, but is probably not particularly good at it yet. There are some adults who still can't regulate their emotions particularly well, but if you've got a child who's very emotional and who cries at the drop of a hat and does all those kinds of aggressive, angry things as well, it's pretty normal until they're at least 8, maybe 9, and sometimes even 10 years of age. Another developmental thing to consider is that kids don't like to or understand why they need to put things away and look after things and treat them with respect until they're usually about 10, maybe even 11 or 12 years old. So the developmental capacity of a child is going to be different for every child, and we need to make sure that our expectations are in line with that. You can find some great information about developmental progress at the Raising Children Network. Just Google Raising Children in Australia and you'll find that. The second thing to think about is that boys are usually more energetic than girls. So if you've got a son who's always punching, kicking, running around and throwing things and is pretty emotional, boys usually not only regulate their emotions and develop slower than girls, but they're also just more energetic. It doesn't excuse inappropriate behaviour, but it can help us to understand why they're doing it, and it can help us to work more with them rather than constantly doing things to them to get them to do what we want them to do. I think that actually may be part of the reason that so many boys are on Rlin and judged to have ADD or ADHD. I'm not sure that all of them necessarily have it. I think that we're just not allowing boys to be boys anymore. We're expecting them to be mild-mannered and soft. And boys kind of just aren't like that until they get a bit older and learn how to regulate their emotions a bit better. The third thing that I would suggest is that based on those 2 points, that we review our expectations of our children and ask ourselves, is what I'm expecting of my child developmentally appropriate? And is my child really capable of doing that right now? Have I given them enough training and enough opportunity to learn the skills that I want them to? Lastly, if you're in a large family, children struggle to get one-on-one time. They need parents who can be emotionally available. They need parents who can really listen and understand. And they need parents who can set firm limits, but do it with love and compassion. If you'd like to find out about all of those things and a whole lot more answers and ways that you can deal with challenging behaviour in your kids better, check out my CD. It's called How to Have World Peace at Home, and you can find more info at happyfamilies.com.au.